Having four cars is a lot of work. It means that there's always something to do, something's always breaking, maintenance is always due, or I just get a fun new idea. And because of that, these things are never done. So today we're going to go over what's wrong with each of these four cars. My name's Hovey. This is Slow Car HQ. Let's get it. This is my 2004 Dale Earnhardt Jr. Monte Carlo. General Motors made less than 3,000 of these, so it makes sense that it's my daily, right? Being my daily driver, this car has taken its fair share of battle scars. They're all over the car. I really need to spend some time doing a proper paint correction, filling in some of these chips, scratches, thankfully no dents. But listen guys, I'm a firm believer that cars are meant to be driven, and this is kind of just the cost of doing business. Another thing that's wrong with this car is the tires, and I'm not talking about how dirty they are. We're working with some Milestars right now.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
And I don't know if you guys know anything about those, but I sure don't. Realistically, these tires are fine. They're not getting me into any trouble when it rains. It drives perfectly fine in the rain. I've had this thing in the snow. But I've heard that these tires really aren't the best quality, and I really need to upgrade to like some Michelins or some Hancooks or just some tires that are going to be better suited for my daily driving application. Under the hood, there's really not much to complain about. My cruise control doesn't quite work because the throttle cable came unattached. It's a pretty easy fix. I just haven't done it yet. And you may or may not be surprised to hear that my 22-year-old General Motors interior is starting to show some wear. But overall, there's really not a lot wrong with this car. There's certainly some imperfections in the paint because it's my daily. The interior is showing its age, and then I got a couple of pretty small fixes. This car is stupid reliable. It's got some good power to be my daily driver. And honestly, if I need any of my cars to confidently make it from A to B, this is the one that I'm choosing. There's really not a whole lot wrong here. If there's anything worth addressing on this car, it's that my factory exhaust is pretty quiet, but I wouldn't say that's something wrong with the car. I'd say that's just a personal preference. This is our 1970 Chevelle, and for the first time in a long time, I can say there's really not a lot wrong with it. This car has definitely put me through hell in a past life. It has left me stranded more times than I can count. We had a ton of transmission issues. We had some rear diff issues. But that's part of the reason why we just swapped a 700 R4 in this, to eliminate a lot of the electronics and make this car run seamlessly. Now, that's really where we're at. And don't get me wrong, there's definitely some things to address. I used to daily drive this car, and it's got the battle scars to prove it.
I am in incredible pain.
Under the hood, there's a couple things we could work on. I think my master cylinder has a really tiny leak that started at some point while I was sitting. My power steering pump used to have a leak before we parked it, and now it doesn't anymore, so I'm just kind of waiting for that to come back. My air conditioning doesn't work. It had a minuscule leak 7 years ago, so then we just let it drain while it was sitting. Now I need to fix that leak. I know right where it is, and then we can fill it back up and get air conditioning, and that's good because it is finally nice weather out here. There's some other things too. I need to rewire my horn. I need to finish wiring the speed sensor on the transmission, but who needs a speedometer? Overall, this car is finally in fantastic shape, and it is such a relief to be able to say that. Again, this car has put me through hell, but nowadays we're looking really good. We have some small projects to work on, and I'll get them done as we keep working on this stuff. But the Chevelle's looking pretty hot right now. And in the hierarchy, this is what you'd call the second date car. That brings us to the OBS, and there's quite a bit wrong here.
Look at that. That's nice and shiny.
I don't even know where to start, but maybe with the fact that we're driving in a fishbowl, and don't worry, we're changing that soon. Staying in the interior, one of the biggest problems is the archaic AC system. It's called 245, and what that stands for is 2 windows down, 45 mile an hour. In addition, my interior pieces are falling all over the place. I don't have a hood release latch, and my radio sounds like it's from the 1940s. Oh, and my fuel gauge doesn't work, but little known fact, that was actually a factory option on these things. This sliding back window is cool as hell and also loves to leak. What a fun option. My tailgate latch is very fun to manipulate. And once you get it open, you find out that it looks horrible. And yeah, there's a lot of rust on this thing. Guess what? It's an OBS. Under the hood, though, this thing runs like a top. We've been doing a lot of work to get it running right. I just have one issue. Sometimes it's super random. The car will like to bog down just a little bit while I'm driving. It really only happens when it's cold and if the weather conditions are right. I kind of suspect there might be some gunk in the IAC valve. I cleaned it once, but maybe I didn't do that good of a job. So we're going to revisit that and see if we can get it fixed. This OBS has come a long way from when we first got it. It was certified clapped back then. Now it's only moderately clapped, right? I've had a ton of fun working on this truck. We've still got some other things to do, but honestly, at this point, it's mostly cosmetic, which is a super exciting stage to be at. It's very nice to be able to just hit go key on and drive this thing down the road and not have to worry about if you're going to make it. That brings us to the car that will never truly be done, our B-Series Civic hatch. Let's get into it. The only real problem with the Honda is that it doesn't have a steering wheel. The biggest problem with the Civic right now is that it desperately needs an alignment. I just put big brakes and new spindles on the front end from an Integra. We also messed around with our tie rods, and my toe out is just absurd. It drives, but I wouldn't exactly call it safe. Staying with the brakes, the rears are still drums. I need to do that same Integra upgrade, but get disc brakes in the rear. Not exactly something wrong with the car, but it is something that we're going to need to do to make this a little bit more steezy. I think the Civic paint looks fine on camera, or maybe I'm just delusional, but this is really a backyard paint job. The guy that painted it did exactly what I asked him to. I only paid him a few grand. He laid a coat of championship white on here, and it looks pretty good from distance. But if you get up close, you can start to see that there's some issues with this paint. So maybe we wrap it, maybe we paint it ourselves. I don't really know, but the paint will need to be addressed at some point. Mechanically, I've really only got one lingering issue with this car under the hood. Pretty often, I will have to bump start this. I have a new-ish starter. It's about a year old now, but I did replace it. But for some reason, it'll just click whenever I hit the key and I have to bump start it, and then sometimes it works. I kind of suspect it might be a ground wire going to the starter, or maybe even the hot wire going from starter to battery. I don't really know, but if you guys have any ideas, let me know. Inside the car, no, we don't have AC, we don't have power steering, we don't have a brake booster, but this is a Honda. If you have those things, it would be a problem. When I was redoing our headliner, by the way, go check out that video, this bolt stripped for our other strut for the back glass, so we gotta either tap that out or replace it. I've never been a big fan of this rear hatch area. My battery's back here and I'm not running a back seat, and I just don't think it looks great. I want to build some kind of enclosure or platform back here so I can get the battery sitting a little bit more level. Overall, the Civic's in pretty good shape. I love driving this thing. We just got to get a couple things sorted out so I can get this thing in a situation where we can drive it whenever we want to. But at the end of the day, having so much work to constantly do to these cars is what I love most about them. I love working on these things, and always having stuff to do gives me the opportunity to keep doing what I love. And I get to make some pretty cool content for you guys along the way. So if that's the kind of stuff you want to see, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and subscribe on YouTube to join the next big car channel, Slow Car HQ.